Okay.
You know that muck backwards
Is
muck.
impossible. It's not possible. Why not? It's just not possible.
Potentially.
Welcome back, everybody, to week 4. It is totally a new week and not 5 seconds after the last episode. We are
the
back.
Same joke twice.
I think I've made it 3 times now.
Spare.
I don't know. It's been that long.
True.
Okay, well, technically, it has been a day because it is the next day. It's just that we're recording this super late. But we're back. If you missed any of the last 21 days, go check the previous videos. We are starting off. I was gonna say strong, but it's ambient music. I don't know if that's strong because it's supposed to be ambient. And you will be starting us off, Mr. Radiant.
Well, this is another dual opportunity. So my choice is the Fine Layers of South Night from Age of Mythology. The game, kind of shit. Music, so fucking good.
I really like this.
I probably could have picked like 60% of the game's songs just because they're all ambient music. But this one I just jive with the most.
I like the solo flute just in the middle of the rest of the beat.
Mm-hmm.
And then the song builds up. I like when the song slowly starts to build up.
Definitely.
I know that like
open up.
when I try like making music just on my side, like in MuseScore or something, I always like when songs do that. They slowly add more instruments and they start taking it back out.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say more, but it's such a good song.
It's like a strategy like map game, right?
A strategy map game.
Look. I mean like a grand map game, like big map, big brain, like Civi kind of style.
It's an RTS.
Thank you.
I guess it's on a big map. So the point of this game is that you're not controlling gods, you're controlling like nations that believe in a certain god, and then you are trying to build up to like appease them and eventually call for their help to kill your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
The gameplay is not the best, RTS wise, but the music, oh my god! I so listening to it and like new instruments just keep being added and removed the whole time. Like it does not like just stay with one consistent thing. I love that about the song. Okay, that's enough for that one.
All right. And then what about that second one that you have?
So this one, once again, I had too many songs. I moved some songs around, but this is Clover Runes from Xanadu Next. This is the first song. No, not the first song. When you first leave the town, this is the song that you hear, and it's so beautiful. That's why I picked it immediately. But I had her change it. But kind of glad I changed it. I think that's a little better for what I'm looking for. But the song is still so beautiful.
This is really nice.
Yeah, I used this game for the title screen the last list.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it's so good of a song. I just love that gentle flute that you hear.
Oh, it's so soft, but it's so pretty.
It could just be that because like the first thing that you do is you enter the town, you go into a dank dungeon, you die, you come back to life as you usually do, and then you're told to go get stronger, you idiot. Then you go outside, and then you just start hearing this, and there's a bunch of ruins, obviously, that you see around you, a bunch of places you can't go to yet because they're blocked off, and so the whole time you're just like killing some goblins, you're dodging attacks, and you're just hearing this, and it's just like, oof, so good.
I think there's something about like apocalypse-y kind of feeling or like ruined kind of games where like that ambience really kind of shows a lot within the context of the game. And I think,
Hmm.
given my choice, I think that kind of makes sense. So I picked a song from Pikmin.
Wow.
Yeah, you know my favorite apocalyptic video game,
Pop,
Pikmin.
pop.
Pop, pop. So I was thinking around. There's a lot of songs in this game that I think kind of fit that, and I wanted it to be like a little different because I haven't really done that yet. So I went with Distant Spring. I think this is the 4th level in the game. Um, this song kind of does things, and I think it's interesting where it goes. It starts calm, somewhat like magical, even spatial. It has a lot of these feels. It gets that ambience in you. Like, you're just kind of getting your footing in this unfamiliar place. And then a little ways in, it starts to hit you. It starts to grow. It's coming in. And then a little bit of cymbals. It almost feels like, you know those images of like those like empty pools, those pool room kind of things?
Yeah.
It's not like those back rooms where like it's super scary and it's supposed to be foreboding, but the pools are supposed to be more dreamscapey. I get a lot of that kind of vibe from this kind of music, and it really just kind of is.
I personally never played in the Pikmin games. Heard it's really good, but I've never played it. I don't hear a whole lot about the music, actually. I hear more about the gameplay, but this song is super good. Oh my god.
And
I
then
just love how smooth it is.
1 minute and 40 seconds in, and now we're going somewhere. Now we're getting a little more dramatic. We still got that ambient sound in the back. But now we're moving. Something's coming. Something's happening. And the game wants you to know that. And it's going to continue to build. It's going to do it for like quite a bit. And then it pulls it back. And now it meshes the two. I think just like all the movements the song does take, it's so interesting. But there's always that
is.
ambience in the back.
I really like the song.
And like about 3 minutes 30 now, it's bringing it back down. It's the unity of those different flutes coming and going. And then we kind of return back to where we were at the beginning, but now with the flutes. And then it just kind of moves back in. And I think that's so neat. It's such a all over the place kind of song, but in a good way. It never feels like we went somewhere and then we've lost the plot. And that was kind of the reason I wanted to pick it. Instead of being something where it's just ambient, I feel like it's more of a built song. It really kind of takes you somewhere.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Like, it's better than my pick.
But we'll move on from that. I think my ASMR of the whole thing is more than enough to explain it. So
Yeah.
why don't we move on to day 23, industrial area music. So we're back with Mr. David Wise himself, the man who cannot be stopped. And this time we're going to be going to some handhelds. Something I don't feel like we really see too much on these lists, but I kind of have to mention it. So we're going to Donkey Kong Country 3, but not for the SNES. David Wise did not work on that. The OST is still really good on the SNES, but for the GBA version, for whatever reason, they decided we needed to get new music, and David Wise decided to bless us with some nice songs. Now, this one is Nuts and Bolts. Now, I think there needs to be something said about the GBA and its use of music. It can be very hit or miss.
Mostly miss.
But this song fucking slaps. And like this entire OST goes really hard. I think it uses the very industrially sound mixed in with a bit of synth. It's got a good amount of funk. And it really uses those three to really get you moving.
Yeah, I personally never listened to the soundtrack on the I just in general never listened to the soundtrack, and I like how very how much funk it has. It feels very catchy, very upbeat, like you're ready to continue on with the stage.
Yeah, and it's just it's such an interesting song with how it is. It's one of those things where you don't think about it, but it's just like they really wanted to make a song on this. They were like, yeah, we feel confident enough to give you a whole bit of funk on this device that is screeching at you. And I think David Wise did a fucking phenomenal job with that.
Yeah.
Freaking 115 here. It's just like.
Hell, at 150.
I don't know. It's just it all moves really well.
Yeah.
But that's why it was my pick. So let us move on then to your pick.
Mine's a complete cop-out, and I already know it. So this does not at all give industrial vibes, but it's based in an industrial stage, so therefore I pick it. Complete cop-out, but it's a fucking banger. I couldn't resist. It's Chord Conjuring to B-Mix from the Japanese soundtrack. I believe this plays when you are in the bad future.
Now, it only says industrial area music, so it works.
But I know it's a cop-out. I know what it's asking for is more industrial-based music.
But this song is a fucking banger, so I don't give a shit.
That's what I'm saying. The Japanese soundtrack for Sega, for the Sonic CD, is completely different from the American. The American one it certainly isn't bad. It's really good. But the Japanese one is way fucking better.
It's really cool that on the phone release by Christian Whitehead, you can actually switch which one you want to listen to.
Yeah, the Steam version is based off of that, so it has that function as well. So the Japanese music was heavily inspired by a big boom that was happening, I think, in the late 80s, early 90s, which is like club music. Just clubbing in general just got really big in Japan, and you can definitely feel that vibe from the whole soundtrack. And song fucking slaps. Cop out slaps, I don't care.
Nah, I think this was an amazing pick.
I'm super, like, I instantly, like, I knew I had to pick it. There was nothing I could have picked. I could have picked something else that was probably more fitting of what the topic is supposed to be on, but this is better.
I agree.
That's all I can really say on that one.
All right, let us then move on to day 24, 32 to 64-bit music. Okay, but before we start, can I just ask, is not the Game Boy Advance a 32-bit system?
I believe so.
I did it again. I fucking did it again.
Did it again.
I keep doing it. I keep putting them right before each other. So let's move on to your first choice.
So the game I picked is the new Tetris on the N64. Specifically, I choose Gali. And the soundtrack, I don't think gets enough love. Every song in this game is a different take, depending on what part of the world that you are in. And I just love the kind of pseudo jungle vibe that you're getting. It's so very not too energetic, but it's energetic enough for you to be pumped to continue with the level. And I just love that simple just backtrack going on that's playing on. I like how instruments are kind of just like instruments and like synth vocals are coming in and out of the song as it's going on.
I think that the beat it's got maintaining is really good. It's got like that like kind of thinking beat. And then like just the intro, just random parts of like music from a little bit of vocal. It's got a little bit of noise. It kind of gives it this like lower kind of clubby kind of feel to it as well.
Yeah, a bit. I was actually going to pick Egypt from this game as well, because Egypt is really good. But I decided to pick this one instead. So I can go find Egypt. I think a lot of people don't really know about this game too much, simply just because it's like it's a Tetris game. Like it's going to have the same kind of few songs, you know, A, B, and maybe something else, but not like every song, every stage is a different song, and that's why I really like it.
So this one is Egypt.
Egypt. It starts off kind of generic sounding, but then it pops off.
Oh shit!
Yeah, the soundtrack slaps.
I love how fast it is.
Celtic, another really good song. I would recommend those who have skipped this game to go ahead and listen to the soundtrack. It's very different from what you expect. It's not just a bunch of remixes of the A or B. It's completely different songs.
Ooh, Celtics is really good too.
It is. Like Tetris A is like the title screen music, and so I kind of like how it's just like they're starting off with something familiar, but then it breaks off into less familiar things as it goes on, but very welcome.
I'm a very big fan of Celtic music, just like in general, but I think adding this like slower beat to it is pretty raw.
I do like the little bits that you can tell of like a synth wave going on as well. Just to add a little bit of uniqueness to it.
That's good.
Yeah. But enough about me. How about you?
All right. So I decided that like when I think of like a song like 3264, I go Smash 64's got some good music, but it's also got some very good original tracks. And I think one of my favorites, especially one that I play a lot in Ultimate when I can, is Dual Zone in this game, Fighting Polygon Team. This encapsulates what I think of when I think of the original Smash game. A super, like, cartoony fighter where you're just kind of, like, fighting people and just kind of doing really funny, silly things. I think it kind of hits that, like, cartoonish brawl vibe. Like, I don't know. I could just see like a fight kind of starting in a TV show with all the blams and bloops going on, and this is the song that's playing in the back. It's fun. It's a fun fight song.
That's definitely something that I like about 64 more than any other Smash game is things like their arms or legs stretching about, how just very just cartoonish the game is.
I like when you like get electrocuted by like an electric move. You literally see their skeleton for a second. You're like, that's cute.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like you kind of lose that more and more. But I feel like with the current games, it feels like more kind of washed in. Like, yeah, it looks good, but it doesn't feel as like personable or like I don't know.
The presentation isn't as strong.
Like the presentation is strong, but it's kind of boring. So I think this song kind of helps with that further in this game, where it really feels like, yeah, you're playing like a cartoon. You're blooming and blamming people.
Like a very small thing is that I like that on the CSS you see a 3D model with a unique animation for the character you chose. And I really don't like how every game after that is just a static PNG.
Yeah, it's like, it's probably much easier, but like, there's something about seeing characters spin around like Mario going, here we go, and I don't know, it gives everything a bit more personality, which I think is the important thing I like about Smash is like, yeah, I'm playing Smash because I like these characters, and I want to see them beat the shit out of each other because I think it would be cool. And I think this music really encapsulates the funness that should come from that.
Definitely.
I think another one that's really good for that is Metacrystal, or the fight with with Metal Mario. I think it's got that like harsher kind of industrial sound to it, but like, it still keeps a very upbeat kind of vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just what this soundtrack does, just in general, really good.
Yeah.
But
pretty good pick.
We'll move on from that from day 24 to day 25. So continuing our theme of fun N64 music, I picked a song from Conker's Bad Fur Day. So when I saw techno music, there was no contest this was going to be the song. Like, what the fuck do you want from me? This is like, when I think of techno music, I think of this song. This is another one of those songs that has a Smash remix version that's also very good. And this is a longer song. It does that kind of build-up thing to like different parts of the song, which I think is really good. So this, fitting kind of with the idea of techno music, is it plays in a club. It plays in like a latter part of the game, in one of the later areas in a club. And I think it immediately fits the atmosphere. You've got the lights going on, the people dancing, and it just builds in. I couldn't just imagine being in a club and hearing the song, and I would be none the wiser. And I don't know. It's one of those songs that I'm very impressed is on the N64. It just sounds so good.
Yeah, it's simple, but I like that. It's very much like a drum beat kind of song.
But then it kind of picks up. It starts moving in a bit more, and then I don't know if it's about a minute in or if it's a little later. But then it kind of like takes us. The beat kind of takes the beat back for a second. I'm a little after the minute. Let me see.
105.
There we go. 112. And then it picks up. And there's going to be a later part where it takes a step back.
This has been a game that has been on my to-do list to play for a very long time, but I've never gotten around to it once again. I tend to kind of just pick up games and then drop them over like having a planned list of games I want to play.
Same.
I feel like there's kind of like too much pressure to like, I gotta play this, I gotta play this next, I gotta play this next. Whereas it's very free flow, just like, I'll try this out. I'll play this. See, I was like, I think I have more fun that way than if I was to plan everything out.
Yeah, I always find myself having a hard time keeping up with stuff. Just in general, but like, I don't know. This is a game where like I've watched people play it and I go, this is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, 210. It slows down. It starts to subdue itself. It really picked up. It's taken a second.
I'm at 230.
I'm just before that. And then we get a bit of that synth. Where is it? This is going to be 3 minutes? Oh, okay, I like this. 307. The synth starts picking up again. It gives it its own little solo section. Let's reintroduce the beat again. I don't know, this is just like all DJ shit that I hear. You're introducing, taking out instruments, you're moving around, and it just feels so that.
It's definitely a nice song.
I remember when we had that tournament in May, when I first set up the stream equipment, I had this song, the Smash Remix version of this song playing in the stream room, and no one could see me for like 20 minutes because I was just dancing to that song on repeat. This is a good, fun dance song to just blare out. But that's why I picked that one. So we'll move on to that. Very, very good song. I had to include at least one from that game.
Understandable.
So what about your pick?
So this is a game that I played someone recently, Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is the boss theme called Warmaker. And it fucking slaps. My god. This game's soundtrack is a fucking banger. Every single one of them. It's one of those games that as soon as I started playing it, like I knew I was gonna finish it right then and there. Like I knew I had to finish it. Such a good game.
Very dubsteppy.
Kinda. It's like dubstep is more or less just techno. But I feel like it's close enough that it counted.
I'm vibing with it.
You definitely tell like this is a big boss theme. Like you're fucking hyped up. You're ready to kick his ass. Nothing's stopping you. The game, so good. Very good story. Yeah, really pretty good combat. Not the best, pretty good combat. I love that it's an open world JRPG. Very unique. I highly recommend it. It's usually on sale for a decent price.
Oh, this ladder part's really nice. I'm at 120.
Yeah. Probably it's a bit more dubstep than techno, but I don't know. I think I had to pick this song. It just called to me once I read the name. It was, I don't know, like it just flows so well with just like what you're about to do, which is just go kick the boss's ass. I could have chosen this, or I could have chosen like the regular battle theme, which also absolutely slaps. This is a game I highly recommend. It's a very different JRPG, very, very different. It's still very distinctively the Yakuza-like game, but it has a lot of inspirations. Super funny, great art design. Oh my god. Like I almost want to just play that game again just because it's so good. I love that slow down at like around 3:30, 5 or so.
Oh, and the previous one?
No, the one I just gave you.
3:30 is like the end of the video.
No, I mean 30 seconds.
Oh. I was like, huh?
Oh man. Oh, so good. The ending made me cry. It was so fucking sad. Okay, that's enough. I'm gushing over how great this game is. Highly recommend it.
Oh, I do like at like 38. It does kind of take a step back. That's nice.
But that's it for me. It's just the song is very focused on what it is, and it performs so well.
All right. Then let us move on to day 26, fire/volcano area music. And you will start us off with ooh.
So I couldn't think of too many songs, but one song that I kept just coming back to was the Lava Caves from Metroid Prime. I just love the beat it offers. I love that it's a very simple but still somewhat of a dreadful song. Well, not dreadful and bad, but like you get dread as you're walking through it all. And it's just so good at just making you on your toes as you're exploring.
I'm actually kind of happy with the pick I have because I almost picked a Metroid song because I was like, yeah, Norfair is like, lava, hot. But I think this definitely is a good one. I haven't listened to the Metroid Prime one before, but I really like the spatial chanting that comes with it.
So the games aren't the best TBH. They're kind of overrated. The first game is maybe like a 7 out of 10. Second game is maybe like a 5 out of 10.
Damn.
The third game is absolutely like a 3 out of 10. That game's just shit. I think it's one of those things of it's very unique. So, it's a first-person explorathon Metroidvania game, but in the first person. Very unique. So I think that because of that, people kind of ignored that the game has a lot of issues of kind of just so much backtracking. And in a 2D game, it's not too bad because you can move fast enough, right? But in a first person, you're also going to be going a lot slower. So it kind of it really affects the overall pacing of the game when it's like, oh yeah, go back in like 20 minutes worth of content to go unlock this next area. Whereas if you do it on like Super Metroid, it wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah.
It's definitely like an issue of just because it's first person, it gets more issues than it probably solved. But it is a fun game, I will say that. It is fun. It has a lot of issues, but the music is pretty nice. And so I picked this song.
I think it was a good pick.
But how about you?
So I'm leaning back on Sonic the Hedgehog again. I look, he's my crutch, he's my rock, except for game design. I think game design wise it's kind of garbage, but music continues to stay a banger. So I thought I'd kind of hit that again with Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 edition. There's a few areas that I think kind of similarly are fire levels, but I thought this one was my personal favorite, which is Flame Core Volcano. I love me and my guitars. What can I say? I don't know. It's just it's rocking.
Yeah, the game is pretty shit, but the music I know for certain is really good.
One thing I do like is I think the guitar really hard in this, really good, really moves to take the lead. But you can also hear the drums and bass pretty well as they kind of move in and out along with it, and I think that's really nice when you can hear the bass line within a song that's kind of heavy.
I do like how it has a somewhat serious tone. I'm not sure when this plays because I've never owned the game personally.
I think it's a little later. I could be wrong.
The only fire stage kind of place I know is when you're playing as Silver, I think, or Sonic, and you're going to the Fire City.
Yeah, this one is a bit later. I think it's near one of the boss fights, like one of the bigger boss fights. But I don't know. It's got a bit of spunk to it, which I like when Sonic's music, especially with Sonic as the forefront, it kind of has that because he's always the rebellious kind of teenagery kind of character. So I think by having that in there is pretty cool, but it's also really serious.
Yeah.
But that's why I picked it.
That's a pretty good choice. It's very much so a jammer.
And that's the thing, especially with 3D Sonic games. 3D Sonic games got that freaking rock on point. So, like, no matter how much I like or I dislike the game at the end of the day, I can at least say I had a whole soundtrack along with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it a lot.
But with that, I think we can move on to day 27. Scary / startling music. Now, I had to pull another Tsukihime out, but don't worry, it's not going to be like last time where I ranted about sex for like 5 years. No one will know about the context of that.
Roblox.
Exactly. So I decided to pick another one that I think, given the context of this day's music pick in question, I thought made a lot more sense. So scary and startling music. When I think of that, there's like a lot of songs I could think of, a lot of horror games and stuff, but I think track 6 from Tsukihime kind of hits a lot of that for me. A lot of it is story context, just like there's not too many songs in Tsukihime, but there are songs that give you the clear evocation of this is this is like the mood you're in. This is where the lines have led you to. This is the descriptions. Welcome to hell. So for track 6, this kind of plays when like there's like a dramatic reveal, or you're about to kind of have shit go down. Something's gone wrong. Something's happened. It's super simple. It's got the piano. It's got the screeching violins. All just kind of everything works. It's checking off boxes of things it should have to get that feeling, but it does it really well. And I think that's important. There's a slight synth in the background, or it's a violin. I can't really tell. But it's always holding the note to keep continuity within the rest of the song. And it's super simple, so it can keep looping however much it wants to loop. And it was an extremely good indicator for me to go, I need to save, because I don't want to lose my progress and have to go all the way back. Because one of the issues with Tsukihime that I found is that when it gives you like a choice to do something, you can't save at that choice. You have to save right before that if you want to, like if you're expecting it. So when you hear the song, it immediately forced me to go, I need to save, shit's about to go down. And I think that's really good for a game when it wants to go darker, or it wants to like throw you something to go, oh shit, what are we gonna do? And I think it does it really well.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Pretty simple, but I feel like it adds towards that factor of sometimes less is better.
Yeah.
Or less is more.
But I will give the floor to you then to give us your scary music for day 27.
So this is the fourth and last repeated game that I chose. This is the Maiden Sorrow from Old School RuneScape. I can nerd out about the lore if you like.
Okie dokie.
Okay then, so where to start? So this is from Raids 2 called Theater of Blood, and the whole kind of gimmick, I guess you'd say, is that you're actually entering a play almost, where you're going through certain events that have been laid out for a bunch of the guests to like watch and watch you suffer or die. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
And so lore-wise, the Theater of Blood was created because the place that it takes place in is called Mauritania. It's kind of depressing there. There's like vampires and werewolves. It's kind of just fucked up there. And a lot of people don't like it there, but they can't really leave because there's a bunch of vampires who are more than happy to kill you if you were to try to run.
So what you're telling me is, for this, we both picked games about vampires?
Kinda.
Damn, that's crazy.
But vampires obviously have to eat, or I guess drink the blood in order to survive, which is the reason why they keep the humans there.
Makes sense.
So everyone's just kind of depressed, and so eventually you hear about the Theater of Blood, which is a place of really hard trials, and if you were to survive the trials, then you would be granted freedom, and you could just leave on your own accord. No one will stop you. And you're told that nobody but one person has finished the actual Theater of Blood. I believe the person was called Stephanie or Stefan. And so you're trying to figure out, how did she do it? What was the way that she was able to survive? Because obviously a bunch of vampires are kind of hard to kill. And so you're looking for her old stuff, and then eventually through a bunch of quests, you find out that person never existed, and that it was just a fake story made so that more people could join the Theater of Blood. And it's really fucking depressing.
It was all a dream.
Somewhat. It was just to give a bunch of people false hopes, but it's just to kill them. And this is the first song that plays when you enter the Theater of Blood, and it just does so well. Of you just have so much sadness, but at the same time, it's so very eerie sounding
It's very
song.
foreboding. It's quiet in that foreboding sense, which I think is really good. It's not going harsh. It's just letting you kind of take everything in.
And it's definitely one of those things of, because I played a lot of the RuneScapes and pay attention to like the quests, you kind of like really notice a lot more stuff going on, a lot more background info, and so like it's just depressing. That's just the best way to describe it. It's really depressing place to be at, and the song like just does such a good job of doing it, or just showing that off. And I was when I was looking for songs, like I kind of just knew instantly that I had to pick this song. It's so good.
I think it's really good.
I have yet to do the Theater of Blood.
Shambles.
Shambles. I have not done Raids 1 yet. Raids 3 is coming out in a few months. I'm just behind on that content and other stuff, but I have listened to the music and it's so good. That's all I can really say. The context really helped elevate the song to me.
Right on. Well, then let us move on to day 28, final boss music. Mr. Radiant, take us away.
This is another dual choice. However, this was not because this was from a game that I chose before. This was just a quick choice difference I had. So the one that I ended up going with is Incarnation of Evil from Dragon Quest IV. And what I like about this is that it's not a song that goes hard. It is not a song that tries to hype you up. It's a song that's very foreboding. It's a very serious song. It's a song that leaves you kind of in wonder, because the boss obviously has multiple phases, and it just doesn't like get like faster. It doesn't try to hype you up after more phases. It just continues with the same kind of serious tone song, and that's what I really like about it. It's a different type of music.
It doesn't move. It's like, yeah, you're in this situation. No matter what changes at the end of the day, you're fighting the boss.
And I just love it. It's so good.
So with your other choice, then, it's another Dragon Quest song.
This is from Dragon Quest III, the SNES version specifically. This is slightly different from how Dragon Quest IV was going, but this is a little bit more epic sounding. Sounds amazing for the SNES, by the way. But it's still a serious tone. Very much like this is it, the final battle. But it leaves you off with a bit more kind of hope in a way of just like, you finish this and that's it. You're done. But it's still a very serious boss. And I like that a lot. And once again, it sounds amazing on the SNES. Like, it sounds very close to like an orchestra sound.
Oh, yeah.
The songs kind of give somewhat similar vibes, but Dragon Quest IV just leans in more towards a more serious one, whereas Dragon Quest III kind of has a more hopeful vibe.
It definitely has a
Still
more
good.
triumphant kind of feeling, yeah.
And I didn't know which one to pick, honestly. Like, it would literally change by the day. Like, this song, no, this song, no, this song. And so, like, I finally just landed on this song, and that's the one I chose.
Gotcha.
I'm happy with both choices. So if I chosen the one from Dragon Quest 3, I would have been just as happy.
Word. Well, it's really funny that you mentioned it's a song that just both of them just kind of stay around the same point, doesn't change no matter the phase, and it's got a very orchestral feel to it. Because mine's like the latter and not at all the former. So the song I picked is from Final Fantasy 3 / Final Fantasy 6 because I fucking hate numbers. Um,
True.
this is the final boss theme / themes, Dancing Mad. So Final Fantasy 6 / 3, banger OST. But like this final boss has like I think 4 phases, and the song like kind of goes through it. So the link I have kind of goes through all of the versions, and it's just so fucking pretty.
I am curious, and maybe a dumb question, but did you choose this version specifically instead of the Pixel remaster, or you just didn't think about the Pixel remaster?
I have not actually heard the Pixel remaster version.
Uh,
I'm very
Understandable.
familiar with this version specifically, just because it was like, this was one of those games, especially the final boss was one of those things that was super prevalent in very early internet discourse when I was growing up.
Yeah,
So it was something
definitely.
that really stuck in my mind.
Yeah, I'd say it's a very iconic song.
Yeah, and we want to talk about doing something on the SNES that you're not expecting. This is fucking good. It's a long ass song too, with all the different pieces in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want to go into it like all day, so I'm gonna kind of cut this a little early. This is more of a listen to this, preferably with the boss included. I think this is one of those things that kind of gets elevated with that, with how kind of grand it feels, despite being a SNES game. I think that's like the main thing. The music itself is very symphony. It is very grand. Thank you for providing the visuals for it. I appreciate it. Oh, it's the Pixel remaster. Nice.
Yeah, I'm curious on what your thoughts on this variant would be.
I think the vocals do sound nicer.
Hmm. The Pixel remasters OCs are so good. That's the
I'm
reason
kind of
for
just
those.
kind of skipping through it, but I think it's really good. I don't know if it's like I prefer one over the other right now. I have to take more time to kind of let it all process, but
Yeah.
I think as kind of just an upgraded version, good. But it's
Mhm.
definitely one of those things where I feel like with the boss fight included, the grandness, the symphonic kind of nature of it, the kind of struggle that it feels both like on the beautiful pixel art that's there along with the music, it makes it feel like a work of art, which is, games in general, music in it, works of art. This feels like that shit where like if you wanted to prove to someone that this was a work of art, you kind of show this and go, you've got your fucking amazing ass painting plus your amazing ass music and you put them together. And I think that's what I really like about it.
Yeah. Pretty good choice.
But with that, I think we shall move on to day 29. We are almost at the end. We're going to just finish the week off here. So, ending and epilogue music. So, for me, I've been playing Toho 7, and it was kind of just like the one thing that kept appearing in my mind for this for some reason. Like, I couldn't think of anything else that wasn't like credits music. So, I was like, I'll do this one. I think it's good. So for this song, it plays when you beat a path and it's really pretty. I think you mentioned it earlier. I don't remember if it was the Xanadu game. It was just like the nice calming piano or the guitar that kind of comes in and just kind of stays there. It really brings you back after the exhilaration that is the final boss and the entire game with how fast everything moves. It feels like you're getting serious closure with the guitar, and then the violin coming in, I don't know, it very just adds a bit of flavor. Introduces the piano, gives it a nice bit of unity to the piece, and it all just works so well to really feel like you're getting a conclusion to a story.
Definitely, I can get those vibes. The game in question was Final Fantasy 11.
Final Fantasy 11.
But,
thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, I can. I love the soothness of it. It's still somewhat energetic in a way. To still have the same kind of general, I don't say motif, just the same kind of general style of an energetic game soundtrack / gameplay. It's not so energetic that's like out of place.
Yeah.
I like that good mix.
There is something about this entire like OST for this game specifically that I love, but I think this kind of encapsulates like something different, but still shows how good it is. I think it's just very nice and soft. Perfect fit for an ending.
Yeah.
But that is why I made it my pick, so I will give the floor to you for day 29.
All right. So I chose the endgame slideshow for my Fallout New Vegas, one of my favorite RPGs. So this song plays while it's telling the player the actions that they've done and how it's affected the world. And I like that so much that it's a very gentle, simple song while you're hearing about like how you have shaped the world. And I like that instead of trying to be more serious, it's a sad kind of sad, almost like you've done this, like you now have to like accept like what you've done regardless if the choice is what you know really wanted or not. I love that so much about that.
It doesn't have like a tone either way. Like this could be good. You could have done good things, could have done bad things. It's just you did something, here's the result. And I really like that. I think for some games they might try and make it like more peppy or less like more upsetting if depending on like on the choices you made, but it feels very like look, you lived, you did what you did, and now we're going to sit back and we're going to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
I think that's neat.
It's definitely one of those context things, though. I played this game so much as a kid; it left a huge impression. A lot of the choices I remember vividly still. Some of the, I don't know, like the story bits, kind of like I forget what it's called. Like the overall theme of the stories, from like the mini quests. I remember them a lot. Like things of just like hurt, how much people can be hurt indirectly by small things. Like if you were to if you were to give water to someone else, like how is that going to affect different people? So much of this game I remember, I don't know, it's a very great game. I love it to death, and I love that song. It's because it doesn't try to convince you that you did something right or wrong. It's just telling you this is what you did.
And I think that's really cool.
Great game. Beautiful.
All right, then I will have you move us to our final day, day 30, which was today? It was yesterday.
Today?
It was technically yesterday, but it's now. Well, it was today when we started the whole thing recording, but it was
What are you talking
yesterday
about?
now.
This is taking place within a few days, weeks.
True.
True.
So we now have credits music, the music that plays when you see all the great people or great singular person who made the game. So why don't you start us off?
So I chose Lonely Pebble from Valiant Hearts: The Great War, which is a game that I don't think enough people know about, which makes me genuinely upset.
I remember when it was first released, and I was like, "This is awesome! We get a World War I game. It really wants to do stuff more narratively. Banger game."
Uh, yeah, the ending genuinely made me cry for like a good minute. I was so sad about how it ended that like Lee's death and The Walking Dead. Like a lot of people say that's the saddest moment in the game. Like that made me kind of a little upset. Like a few tears. This shit would have me bawling. I was so sad, and I think that's why I love this song so much. That it's so simple, and you hear it as your character is walking off to a certain location that I won't spoil, and you like everybody is like looking at him sadly, and you just have to keep it going. There's no way back, and then the ending happens, and it's like, oh my god, I don't know. Being flustered right now just talking about it. That's how much the ending got to me. I love this song.
It's a really pretty game, like aesthetically. I think musically, it really feels.
Yeah, yeah. I can't say too much more about spoiling it, other than just like the ending made me cry, and the song absolutely had a big part of it. I'm getting like a little flustered. I'm being flustered right now just talking about
If
it.
you want me to move on, we can move on.
No. We have one more for me. This my final choice was going to be a song for Wonder Project J2 called "Leaving Tomorrow," and it's a really really good song. It starts off kind of simple. It keeps starting and stopping. I like that. And you hear parts of the main theme of the game in the credits as well. But this time you hear it in a very sad context. So relaxing at the same time.
It feels extremely conclusive with that, introducing the more higher pitched instruments in there around the minute mark.
Oh, getting goosebumps.
Oh.
Yeah. And the reason I didn't choose this song was because I had too many songs picked from my past list. So I had to switch it up.
No worries.
But I changed it to something that was still extremely good. And I love this game. But that's enough for me. So I'll leave it to you.
I feel really fucking bad because you've got two really good, very emotional ones. And I picked one on the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So this is the staff credit song from Wario World. So
I see.
There's a reason I picked this. There's a big reason. A lot of credits have this really good finality to it. It does that really nice, smooth emotional core. It really kind of centers around what the main emotional theme is. And this does that. But, like, it does it in a very Wario World way. I love how zany it is. But, like, it also moves into that more kind of composed musicality to it. On top of the very silly stuff that comes into it. The breathing, the freaking other fun twisting instruments. Moving it in and out with the orchestra. It's so silly and has this good feel-good atmosphere to it from what you just did.
Yeah.
I just put it in here. It feels so Wario, but it doesn't. Like, it's not instruments I consider about Wario, but it feels so him.
Yeah,
and it kind of goes
the Wario aesthetic.
It goes a bit big band. I love the constant breathing into the mic because it's like I feel like we're about to get like the sickest rap breakdown. It never comes, but it's really funny.
Yeah.
And then it starts to kind of conclude. Starts to conclude around, what is this? The 138, 139. It's super whimsical. We're gonna get into that ending. Ah, so triumphant. Fuck you, we're going back into Wario World. I don't know. I think a lot of games really use the credits to get into that emotional core of what the game's about. And I think it does it well for Wario World.
Yeah, definitely. So that's certainly a good pick, even if it is not one someone would typically pick of.
But that will bring us to our conclusion of our list.
That would be correct. Our second list.
Yep. The first one, I'll probably just post the first one list just in the description after this. But it was a good practice, and I think this time we got a lot of good variety, a lot of good music that I think allowed us to kind of stretch our feet a little more, kind of go for things we felt a bit more connected to, a bit more emotional with, and to give more descriptors for. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like the second list was better than the last one. That could be just because we had different topics that were a bit more
nuanced and exploratory.
Yeah. But it also could just be that we've done it once, and now we have a bit more practice on how we want things to go.
Yeah.
But good list.
Yeah, and I think it's just a fun thing to do. It allows you to kind of stretch your knowledge of games again and just go. It really forces you to think about the music more, because I think it's something that sometimes you kind of forget about when you're playing a game, especially certain games that don't feel as centered around them, but there can be tracks kind of hidden around that you don't really think about. I know, like, some of the songs, like, from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, I wasn't really thinking about it as much until I got to certain areas, and I went, sound design's pretty good. There's just kind of things that you can think about and just re-examine your experiences with a game, and some can really pull at your heartstrings, make you laugh, and the music's always there to kind of help reinforce that.
Most definitely.
But I think that's about it for me. Anything else you would like to add?
No, I don't know. I feel like I just did a better job of a list than last time. But that could be a bias because I just finished this one.
What do you mean just finished? It's been like weeks.
True. But I don't know. I feel like this list was a bit better than the last. But I don't know.
I'll also make sure to put I guess my description will already have my my challenge text will have each of the days. So if you want to do this with a friend. It's a good, fun exercise to do. And yeah, I'm glad I got to do it with you, Radiant. And I definitely recommend people try it out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Great hanging out with you.
Definitely.
Again, after like a month.
True. It's 100% been a month.
Actually, like over a month even.
It's almost like it's July 1st.
Almost. Oh my gosh. July 1st?
It's like the start of the month.
Damn.
All right, what classic thing am I hitting you with to end the video? Let's see. No, wait, this is thumbnails. I can't hit you with a random thumbnail. That'd be weird. I'm hitting you with the welcome to Warp Zone. Have a good
Damn.
day.
That's crazy.